So Mayor Trina, earlier you said that you have 0 cases, right, in your town. But
Yes.
how are you dealing with, not having a single case? What are you doing?
Well, really, we're trying to exercise as much vigilance as we can and trying to be consistent with our rules. So you can't really make exceptions na, oh, sige, pagbigyan ko si ganito or ganyan. Because the moment you do that, then you lose your mode. You can't just tell people, you lose your mandate. So you just have to really be consistent with all the rules. You really have to explain it properly. And really, one of the key things there is communication, being able to communicate to people and really making them understand. Because once you make them understand why we're doing this, then it stops being like a senseless rule for them, and instead they start following it. So really have to uh, set the tone for them. So make them understand everything. It's a fine balance between saying this is a very grave situation that we're in, and also trying to balance it with don't panic, we're okay, we can do this. So uh, jumping from one spectrum to the other, but maintaining that balance between that. And
You
then
don't.
really the transparency, I think, is very important. So the transparency is important. If there are people who have tested positive on a rapid test, or if there are positive cases in the nearby towns, you have to be able to tell people immediately. You don't hide information from them, because in this day and age, little bits of information can come out, and that's very dangerous when it's incomplete. So I always tell people, you always check our pages, you always check our communication. Don't rely on unofficial forms of communication. So then you try to really reassure people that you're on top of the situation. And then part of that communication is consultation. So GovKaka has already mentioned that it's very important to always consult everybody, especially the frontliners, people who are supposed to be implementing the law, people who are going to be out there. So you have to talk with them and see what the problems are, to ensure that they can really do proper implementation of the law. So really just communicating with everybody and consulting with them. So that allows you to come up with more responsive strategies. Also, of course, preparing all the needed medical equipment. So when the crisis started, syempre, government procurement is a bit slow. So we were able to tap on private donors, people from the community who were able to help us out and to procure the necessary the medical equipment. And then I always say that this crisis is not just a health crisis, but it's a two-pronged crisis. So we also look at the economic side. So we try to address that as well. So we used creativity in coming up with solutions since we had limited resources. One of our flagship programs during this crisis was the agricultural packs, the agri packs. So our relief goods were not only rice and canned goods, but so that we could do a twofold impact, where we could also help the farmers and the fishermen and the people raising chickens. So we were able to purchase all these agricultural products from them and include them in the relief packs. So we were able to provide food, but at the same time, we were able to address the economic needs of our marginalized groups and the people producing the food. So right now, to further that one step, is we're coming up and we're fast tracking our meat processing centers and our fruit and vegetable processing centers. So katulad ng nabanggit ni Gov Kaka, now there's a lot of surplus of fish. There's a lot of agricultural products because we're not able to bring this to other places very easily. So we've come up with a proposal to process it instead into different products. So bacon, ham. We're also doing trail mix, banana chips, all those things that we will be able to export to other places, and which also has a longer shelf life. So that's what we're doing. We've also done free shuttles, and Mayor Crisel will speak more about that later. I think local PPE. So we had local women making face masks, as well as all the necessary medical equipment. So we just sourced out the fabric, and then they were able to come up with that. So we have a surplus of local PPEs, Mercado on the go, and so much more. So all of these are, we feel, creative solutions that don't require so much resources, but are able to help our communities at this time.